Well, hi, Nick Collier here, and we got another little project kind of on the horizon. A guy contacted me from the UK and wants me to make him a extra large dapping block with an 8-inch radius. Now, I make 4 dapping blocks that I sell on eBay and a few other places that have a 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch radius in the block itself. And if I had one laying around here, I'd show it to you, but anyhow. So he wants me to make this radius, and I have this other tool that I've been making these radiuses on, and I could make an 8-inch radius with it. And if the approach I plan on taking doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and use that other process. But and let's go over and have a look at that tool. All right, well, you can't see anything because the electricity just went off. Well, it was off 3 or 4 days ago for about a day or so, and so it just went out again. This is, I spent probably a good month building this to fit my lathe, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it has really done a great job. I mean, it has done exactly what I wanted it to do for all of that time, but it's always been bulky and troublesome. And I've been able to pull it off. But once I got that tracer attachment, I thought, you know, maybe the tracer attachment could actually do the same thing. So we're going to try that with the tracer attachment, and I think the lights just went out again. Okay, well, the first thing we're going to have to do, if we're going to try to get any kind of accuracy at all, is we've got to get an exact 8-inch radius on this edge here for the tracer attachment to follow it. So, and the only way to do that I can see, because, you know, 8 inches is about out to here. So this is not going to hold it. The floor jaw is not going to hold it. So I'm going to have to put the faceplate up on here, drill a couple of holes in this someplace, attach it to the faceplate, spin the faceplate, and catch this edge just to get an exact cleanup. So we're going to go ahead and trade out the 3-jaw for the faceplate, and you know, that whole rigmarole. Okay, Nick Collier here, and it's a crisp, cool February morning. We're going to continue with this project, and let's see if I can find that piece of metal. It's here somewhere. I know I just had it in my hand a second ago. There it is. So what we're making is the forming tool for the tracer attachment, and the only way I could figure out how to do it was to put it up on, this is our radius, so I'm going to put this piece of metal over the top of the radius, and what I found is I've got one screw hole here, so I'm going to cut a slot there, and then I've got a hole in my, well, I had a hole, where's that? I had a hole in it. Where'd it go? Oh, it must have rotated or something. There it is, right there. So there's my slot hole, and then here is a hole in the actual casting itself that I can put a bolt in. So then once we get that in, then I can crank up the lathe and come in a sense, bore out this arch to exactly 8 inches. So stick with me, we're going to have a little fun with this one. Okay, and when I read his drawings, I for some reason thought it was an 8-inch radius, and it turns out that it's an 8-inch diameter. So if you'll see here, my bit is going to miss this by a fair amount, but I think I can come in far enough to where I'm not even going to hit the bolt, and that looks like I'll be able to just create that 8-inch radius without any problem. Now the problem is that he wants an exact 8-inch radius, so I'm going to need to back this up. I'm going to need to make a little core for this piece here, so I can put it in the middle and measure out to 8 inches. So we'll go ahead and go over to the little lathe and make the core. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring this down to size. We're going to face this off, and then we'll put it in the big lathe eventually. For the moment, all we're going to do is put it in the big lathe and face off this front edge. But eventually we'll put it in the big lathe and create a cone so that we have a nice sharp point to go to. So I think what we want to do is we're going to go down to this size, which is about, what? 1/4 inch smaller. So we'll start whittling away at this and see what we can come up with. All right, run our tap down. Okay, so we've got our center piece in. We've trimmed it. We've found our absolute center point. I'm going to bring my bit into that center point and then bring it out 8 inches and take it in and set a mark. What I have to do is I have to rotate this around later, but at least I'll have the 8 inches set. So let's spin this once again. All right, well, we got 4 inches. How come we're so far out? Well, because we put it in the wrong place. All right, well, we're going to have to come into that part because it's an 8-inch diameter, not 8-inch radius. All right, so we'll just reset, and it shouldn't be too much problem. Okay. But it's lunchtime, and we're going to take a break. So since this is a test anyhow, I don't even know if it's going to work. I'm not going to take this whole thing apart. I'm just going to go ahead and cut myself a radius on this. And then, of course, if it works, then take it apart and build another one. So let's just cut ourselves a radius. And we're at 4 inches exactly right now. Let's see how that's going to play out. Just bring it in till it hits. There's our hit. Okay, pretty nice cut. I'm feeling something under there. Now it could be that it's just, oh yeah, it's a rollover. All right, so that's no problem. All right, so yeah, Good. We can take it apart, and I'm wondering if first thing I want to do is find a center line from the very center out, so that I can set my tooling up to that. So let's go ahead and put some Dicom in here. We'll drop ourselves a scale right across the, yeah, pretty dry, right across center line there. And it really doesn't matter where we land as long as we're sitting on center line. Because that is our perfect center, and then it goes up from there. Okay. Well, let's take it apart and see what we got. Well, hi, Nick Collier here, and you know, we're working with that tracer attachment, and I really wanted it to work. And somehow the geometry just didn't work out, and it wouldn't do it. So, but I ended up finishing this off, getting that 8-inch radius, or whatever the radius was that I had, and it was random at that point because I was just testing it out, and then welding a bracket onto it with my, I think my line was back here that I scribed, and then putting it on the, mounting it on the follower bar down below, and then putting the tracer attachment to it, and it just wouldn't actually move this direction. The tracer attachment really only moves these directions, and you know, this is from here to here is, what is that, 1/4 of an inch, and it has to travel all the way across here to do that 1/4 of an inch. It won't do that. Now, at some point or another, I may play around and try to get the head to swing over a little bit, and get maybe more of a 60-degree angle, and set up a 60-degree angle there, and then come into this with a 60, and I might be able to get a little bit more action with that. But you know, we're not doing it today. And the other thing is, this is 3 or 4 days later. So I went down and I'm editing this video and getting it all ready to show to you, and somehow a whole section of film, poof, disappeared. So we missed out on the last part, and but we're going to go on. So stick with me. We'll be having some more fun, I promise. Good morning, Nick Collier here, and we've got a little short video of this project, and I've already made the dapping block with an 8-inch diameter cup, 5-inch wide piece of material, and you know, we've done this before, so I didn't really feel that I needed to bring you in on the filming of this part, but we haven't done this other part, and that is to make a positive for that block. Now he is going to dome coins, so the positive has to be the thickness of the coin less than 8-inch radius or diameter. So we're going to put this on the lathe. We'll just do this right now, and we're going to come in. And I'll probably put you on hold while I set the tool up, but we're going to use my handy dandy little radius tool that will give us the ability to cut a perfect radius on the end of this plug of steel. So we'll be back in a minute. I make these little dapping blocks, and once in a while somebody calls me up and says, hey, I want a positive for my dapping block. So knowing that I was going to have to make positives for people here and there, I developed this tool that will allow me to do such a thing. And when I built it, I went, oh, this tool came out so nice. I better build a box for it so it doesn't just sit out there and rust. And sure enough, there we go. So we're going to pick it up and put it on the lathe, and we'll be back. Okay, so we've got our tool in place. We've got our piece of material, but you know, I'm looking at it, and I think I want to take off just this first amount right here. So we still want to get our 8-inch radius, and that's we'll do that right now, and then eventually we're going to go ahead and machine off this first surface all the way down to here, and then create our radius with that. But right now my wife is, she got up a little late today, which is okay, and she's out meditating, and I promised her I wouldn't start any heavy machinery until 9 o'clock, and it is now 8:27 and counting. So let's take some measurements. Let's get this to adjust out to exactly 4 inches plus, I think, 1.7 millimeters, which transfers into something. I don't know what it is just yet, but we'll figure that out. I love my little conversion chart here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it has all of the fractional and decimals. So 667 or 6718 is 45/64. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're, and I'm going to get my head in the way, we're at exactly 4 inches right now. And what we need to do is take 66 thousandths off of that 4 inches. We could just tap it in. Let's give that a try. We're going to slide back over here and get our little tapper. That should do the trick. Make sure we're all the way down. All right, we're on the line. We're up against the tip. We're coming into 8 inches exactly. I'm going to answer that phone. Okay, so we've got ourselves situated, and now we're going to just go ahead and take off this last 1/4 inch or 3/8, something like that, to get us down to where we want to go. First, we have to plug in. That looks pretty good. All right, we got ourselves a pretty good surface there. I think we've got something to work with. Let's drag our carriage all the way back. Throw a little bit of oil on the ways here. bring our tool back. All right. So since we're all set up, all we really need to do is clean off the ways, drop our shim underneath here, and slide this baby all the way forward. Let's get a little more oil on those ways. Until it touches. Well, we're going to stay there at almost touching, and then we'll get a radius going a little bit at a time here. Yeah, we can get a little closer than that. All right, we'll put our clips on, and we are ready to rock and roll. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, pretty simple, no big deal. We got that thing turned. The two facing pieces are matching, and we'll put that in a box to my customer and send it to the UK, which is where he lives. So, hey, Nick Collier, hey, subscribe. I love subscriptions.